in a quaint little town nestled among rolling hills, where time seemed to move at its own gentle pace, there stood a charming library. Its weathered brick walls and ivy-covered facade held countless stories within, but none quite as enchanting as the tale that was about to unfold. One crisp autumn morning, as golden leaves danced on the breeze, a tiny ball of fur with whiskers and bright, curious eyes slipped through the library's open door. The kitten, no bigger than a paperback novel, padded silently across the worn wooden floor, his little paws leaving no trace of his presence. As sunlight streamed through tall windows, casting a warm glow on rows of books, the kitten's gaze wandered in wonder. His emerald eyes widened, taking in the towering shelves that seemed to stretch endlessly towards the ceiling. The air was thick with the comforting scent of old paper and leather bindings, a perfume that tickled his sensitive nose. With a graceful leap, the kitten found himself atop a stack of colorful children's books. He settled in, his fluffy tail curling around him like a question mark. But to anyone watching, it might have appeared as if he were reading, his eyes moving across the pages with intense focus. Miss Amelia, the kind-hearted librarian with silver-streaked hair and glasses perched on the tip of her nose, emerged from behind a shelf. She stopped in her tracks, a soft gasp escaping her lips as she spotted the unexpected visitor. But instead of shooing the kitten away, a warm smile spread across her face. "Well, hello there, little one," she whispered, approaching slowly so as not to startle the furry intruder. "It seems we have a new bookworm in our midst." The kitten looked up, meeting Miss Amelia's gaze with a gentle blink. There was something special about this little creature, she thought, something that belonged among the stories and adventures that lined the shelves. As days turned into weeks, the kitten became a fixture in the library. He would curl up in sunny spots, nap on cushioned chairs, and most endearingly, perch atop open books as if absorbing their contents through his paws. Miss Amelia began to call him Dewey, after the decimal system that organized the library's vast collection. Word spread quickly through the small town about the library's newest resident. Children who once dragged their feet when asked to visit now begged their parents to take them. They would giggle with delight as Dewey playfully batted at the strings of their sweaters or nuzzled against their hands as they stroked his soft fur. But it was in the evenings when the true magic happened. As twilight painted the sky in hues of lavender and gold, Miss Amelia would gather the children in a circle on a plush rug near the fireplace. Dewey would take his place of honor atop a large, leather-bound book in the center. "It's time for the storytelling cat," Miss Amelia would announce with a twinkle in her eye. The children would lean in, their faces alight with anticipation. As Miss Amelia began to read aloud, something extraordinary occurred. Dewey's eyes would grow wide, his ears perked forward, and he seemed to hang on every word. He would tilt his head, swish his tail, and occasionally let out a soft meow, as if commenting on the story's twists and turns. The children were captivated. They swore that Dewey understood every word, that he was helping to tell the story in his own special way. And who could say for certain that he wasn't? In that cozy library, surrounded by the limitless worlds contained within books, anything seemed possible. Night after night, families would gather for story time with Dewey. Parents found themselves just as enchanted as their children, rediscovering the joy of losing themselves in a good tale. The library, once a quiet place visited mainly by dedicated readers, became the heart of the community. Dewey's presence seemed to breathe new life into the old building. The dusty corners were swept clean, new cushions adorned the chairs, and fresh flowers appeared on the front desk each morning. The library had always been a sanctuary of knowledge, but now it was also a place of warmth, laughter, and the kind of magic that only stories can bring. As seasons changed and years passed, Dewey grew from a tiny kitten into a handsome cat with a regal bearing. His fur gleamed like polished copper in the sunlight, and his eyes held the wisdom of countless stories. He moved through the library with the grace of a character who had stepped right out of the pages of a beloved book. Children who had first met Dewey as toddlers now brought their own little ones to story time. They would smile nostalgically as they watched a new generation fall under the spell of the storytelling cat. Dewey remained a constant, a living thread connecting the past to the present, weaving the community together through shared stories and cherished memories. On quiet afternoons, when the library was empty save for the whisper of turning pages, Miss Amelia would often find Dewey curled up in a patch of sunlight, surrounded by open books. She could have sworn she saw him smile, content in his kingdom of words and wonder. The tale of Dewey, the library cat, became legend in the small town. Visitors from far and wide would come to catch a glimpse of the famous feline, hoping to experience a bit of the magic for themselves. But to the locals, Dewey was more than just an attraction. He was a reminder of the power of stories to bring people together, to inspire imagination, and to create a sense of belonging. As the sun set each evening, casting long shadows through the library windows, Dewey would take his place on his favorite book, ready for another night of storytelling. And in those moments, as voices hushed and eyes turned expectantly towards the cat with the knowing gaze, it was clear that some of the greatest adventures happen not on distant shores or in faraway lands, but in the quiet corners of a small town library, where a little cat with a big heart helped bring stories to life. In this place of books and dreams, where imagination knew no bounds, Dewey, the library cat, had found his true home. And in doing so, he had given the town a gift more precious than any treasure found in the pages of a book. The gift of a story that would be told and retold for generations to come.